To my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, then welcome back. My name is Shayna. Make sure you click the subscribe button and turn on the bell button so you'll be notified anytime that I do post a new video. So for today's video, I'm going to be reacting to Shyla's The Truth video. Now I did see this video already. I could not freaking wait to see it. This video is super long, damn near an hour, but I want to rewatch it again and give you guys my opinion on this. I also seen that Landon did the Real Truth video last night, which I really wanted to watch too, but I was like, I'm gonna wait to react to that after this one. And I'm going to be eating while I watch this because I'm starving. So let's get right on with the video. Only thing that's going to be hard is that this camera stops at 16 minutes, so I'm going to have to stop this about 3 times or so, 3 or 4 times. So yep, let's just hit the screen recording and let's go.
My second and my final attempt to film this. I'm literally filming it on my phone right now. My camera battery died and I just want to move on. I don't want to be associated anymore. I don't want this anymore. I just want to move on and continue to be happy with my daughter, and that's all I want. Let's start. Landon and I, we broke up. He was abusive, physically, verbally, emotionally, you name it, our entire relationship.
Which I'm really shocked. But not everything is what it seems.
Which he's admitted to.
I want to be truthful, I want to be honest. Definitely was
looks so
definitely
weird
more
there.
Toxic and causing more fights. Sometimes verbally abusive too.
I honestly
He says it so casual. You know, sometimes, you know, I was verbally abusive, you know. Like, that's cool. Like, he said it so casual. Like, he didn't really seem like, you know, there were times where, like, I was verbally abusive to this woman and you get what I'm trying to say? Like, his tone was kind of weird to me. I remember watching that video and I was like, what?
to get out of that relationship when, you know, right before he got diagnosed with cancer. I wanted to get out of that relationship. I just knew it wasn't good. I stayed because I thought that was, you know, going to be his second chance at life and he was going to be a new person. And previous to cancer, he was not there for me. He didn't really take care of our child for a long time. He just wasn't the father that
Why are people having kids and not wanting to take care of them? Why are we doing that? Like, usually people don't want to take care of their kids because, yeah, they don't want the responsibility, but they also don't have the money. And in this video, Shyla said that she does make the most money, but he made money too. So it's like, you're somewhat financially stable at the time. What's stopping you from taking care of your kid? Sometimes it's not always about the money. Sometimes people aren't mentally prepared to take care of another human being, but I don't know.
I expected him to be another partner, so I was looking at places and I was ready to go. I have a text message from literally the day after our daughter was born. She was born on the 19th. I was still in the hospital and he had left and he was gone for hours. Hours upon hours upon hours. I'm like, where are you? What are you doing? Where are you? You know, and he basically said, I was like, I told you I'm coming back later, you know, and I was like, I had a C-section.
That's
I
bizarre.
couldn't get out of bed. I physically needed someone to help
Disrespectful.
me to be able to get to the baby and feed the baby, and that's when I realized, like, okay, he's not going to be that person for me.
Horrible.
So he gets diagnosed with cancer. I'm taking care of him.
I just want to say that's my biggest fear, getting with somebody and them being something that you thought they were when it's just you and them, and then when you have a baby, they're a completely different person. I pray I don't have to go through that.
Independently while caring for a newborn independently. I've been at my breaking point. I was a single mother in a relationship, And I was carrying all the weight around previous to him getting sick. I was doing everything from 100% baby to most of the work, handling all the bills, all the finances, doing all the housework, all the laundry, everything for the dogs. And it was during like the beginning of COVID, so it was a really hard time for me. I'm gonna be honest, I was a bit resentful, and I was starting to really dislike him as a person. During cancer, he was not understanding at all. I don't know if I could expect him to be understanding, but he wasn't understanding. He wasn't nice to me. He continued to be abusive during his cancer treatments. So for context,
You're going through cancer and you're still being disrespectful. Like, I couldn't imagine being ill and still being disrespectful.
the hospital wanted him to have some sort of independence. His doctor would say that because he was very lazy before. So his doctor was like, you can't be lazy, you need to like work. So I didn't expect him to go like on a full workout, a hike, but I would lay his pills out for him for the entire week, and I would leave them in the kitchen, and his only job was to walk to the kitchen and get his pills. He would manipulate me. After he would be mean to me and abuse me and hurt me, he would basically say like, oh, it's because I have cancer. And it would work. It would guilt trip me back.
It doesn't make it okay.
He's supposed to do like things like, it's okay if he like treats you like this.
No.
Which in reality, it's not okay at all. 100% not okay. Yes, he did have cancer. He was sick. He had a cancer that developed from not.
And I can only imagine how she felt. Her boyfriend has cancer, and it's like he's being disrespectful to her, and she don't want to be disrespectful to that because he's not feeling well. I feel like he was really taking advantage and testing her.
Treating like pneumonia or something like that. So yes, it was cancer. No, he was not going to die from it. Almost 100% of it was gone after the first chemotherapy. So he was rapidly getting better. Once I realized that cancer wasn't going to really change him, or didn't change him at all, he more so enjoyed the attention that cancer brought to him.
Wow.
I was like, okay, I don't, like, this is not what I wish I would have left. Like,
People die from cancer.
Like the humbling experience.
And he wants the attention.
I was resentful because I waited for you to get better, and you were able to, like, basically live a normal life, and you were still choosing, like, to not be there for me and not help me with our child. And so this text, I'm like, I don't understand how I do more than you with everything. And I already have to ask for like little things, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, once you're well, like 100%, I need 50% of a partner. I've been carrying
100
this weight for so long by myself. I was just like, I feel like I've been more than fair, and I'd let you heal, and I've been there, but like, I was doing it all by myself. This is before we knew he had cancer. I said, I'm losing my mind. Like, he would only watch her in the morning. If I would wake him up too early, he'd say, no, it's too early. Like, I'm going back to sleep. And I didn't understand how, like, wrong that was. I didn't understand why I'd have to ask to, like, shower. It just kind of continued on like that. And I was like, you know what, like, he's not a good partner to me. He's not a good father. Like, I need to go. And so I said, I'm going to stay at my mom's. For him to say that he thought the situation was worse than cancer, I don't think that's respectful, nor I don't think that's fitting, first of all. I think he had a pretty amazing cancer experience. He had the best doctor in the country. He had every single thing taken care of. He didn't have to worry about one single thing. And he was, told 100% that he was going to live. I think that's a pretty good experience for what.
Yeah, that is a good experience.
To some people, fast forward to our breakup. He would never tell me directly that we were breaking up. He would try to keep me around. He would try to lead me on. He would say like.
That part really struck a nerve for me because my relationship back in like 2017 it ended. I was dating somebody, and I have a story time about that. And there was a point in time when we were on and off so much. I felt like they were doing things to kind of show that they didn't want to talk to me anymore. So they would like distance themselves, and then one day they wanted to talk to me, and the next day they didn't. It was, and I didn't know about narcissistic people until the year after. I'm like, that's who that person was. Narcissistic AF.
I'm just going through things. I just need my space, things like that, or I'm gonna really focus on my boxing career. But the night that I really understood that it was
what happened to that?
when I just, really quick, I want to say one of the biggest, most influential things in my healing has been educating myself. I have so many moments now when I'm like reading a book that I really have been reading is about narcissists. It's called Why Does He Do That? And it's connected so many dots for me. I've had so many like, oh, that makes sense moments now. And I knew the word narcissist, but I didn't know really what a narcissist was.
Same here.
Until after the fact. And now I can look back and realize that like it all makes sense now. Narcissistic tactic is they want to make everything really confusing.
Mm-hmm.
They'll never just tell you straight up. They really want to confuse you and lead you on, and they want that control over you, and they want you to rack your brain and try to figure out the situation, and they want it to seem random and uncalculated. But the truth is, if you look at it, 9 times out of 10, it's calculated. They do this intentionally. I knew our relationship was toxic, and I knew he was not good for me, but I had spent my entire adult life with this man. I had started a family with him.
That's true. She's young. They started dating when she was like, what, 20? I don't know.
I wanted to have a family for my daughter. I wanted things I went after. I wanted a family. I never grew up without, and I wanted that for her so badly. And so I held on for that, and I thought, okay, like he's just maybe going through something. But I knew it was coming to an end when he let me know, like, there was one day in particular, and I was crying and I was really upset. And I said, like, what are we doing? Are we going to be together? Like, I don't understand. And
if you have to ask that, just clip. It's over. It's done.
He was like, well, I'm going to do whatever, like, the F I want to do.
Wow.
These are his words. I'm going to do whatever the F I want to do. I want to live like my brother. I want to be like my brother. And at that point, I was like,
trash.
Probably not going to work out from here on out. So the very same night, so I was just crying. Like, I felt my heart was broken. I felt like I lost everything I know. I was losing my family. I was losing, the closest person to me. I felt like he was my best friend. I was really upset that day, and he came over to me. I was sitting on the bed. He was sitting across from me, and he came over, and he began hugging me and kissing me and saying, like, I love you. It's going to be okay.
No, it's not.
And I'm
like he knows it's not
going
to be okay.
I mean them. Like, I'm broken. He's like, no, I mean them. And just, like, and so I was like, maybe, like, he does love me still, And I was a little hopeful. He had left that day, and that evening, he would stay in Joe's room most of the time, honestly. He'd sleep in there almost daily. But that night, I was just on my phone in bed, and I came across his Instagram, and I was like, whoa, he has no pictures on here. He deleted every picture of him and I, and they posted something on his story along the lines of, like, who wants to go on a date or something, and I had felt like my soul leave my body. You know that TikTok, and it's like, Popeye's biscuit. Like, I felt that, like I felt like my soul leave my body. I cried, but it was so weird.
This literally reminds me of the relationship I was telling you guys about. So when me and that person were like done, an old friend of mine actually seen the person's Facebook page, and she sent it to me. She was like, yeah, they posted a screenshot of them deleting all your pictures together, and was like, oh, doing some spring cleaning. And I was like, what? Like, they never told me that they did that. But the other day they was just texting me. Wow, like, that person really treated me bad. Yeah.
Cried for maybe 30 seconds. And up at that point, it had been so many things like that every single day. Him leading me on and, like, loving me, leading me on. And that was, like, the final straw. I knew in my heart that
nobody
was, like,
deserves that. Nobody deserves that.
Came over me and said, okay, you cried. And I realized, okay, it's time to get out of this. But also a narcissistic tactic is normal people, you and I, don't desire to hurt other people. If you see that you've hurt someone that you care about, you're empathetic with them, you feel bad, you do things to undo that. Whereas narcissists, they actually, like, get off on it.
Mm-hmm.
They like to see the control that they have over your emotions. And once he saw, like, how upset I was, he was like, okay, I'm gonna, like, love you, it's gonna be fine. And then, like, to do something like that without any words in between is very, like, let me see what kind of, like, reaction I can get now. Like,
it takes too much energy to do that. Just be a good person.
What kind of control I can have over this. I felt very evil to me to lead me on in that way. That was the end of our relationship. At the time, we weren't really filming on YouTube. That was because of him. He didn't want to film. So once you know, he decided he didn't want to be with me anymore. He's like, I'm gonna film I'm gonna film. We were in contract for our YouTube channel, so he was like, I'm gonna film. Never did. And at the time, we shared a YouTube channel, and that YouTube channel, after our channel got hacked, well, maybe a year back now, it was never the same. It ruined so many things. So our channel maybe covered our rent at the time. He was like, basically, you're on your own, like, figure it out. He was not contributing financially in any way. The YouTube was the only thing that he was contributing financially to. I was paying his entire boxing career, the other half the rent, all of our cars, his McLaren, all of our employees, and funding businesses that we both invested to separately. Our monthly expenses were about $50,000. I was covering all the expenses on my own.
That's like surgery
money. The least you
money.
can do is contribute to like YouTube, because like that's the only way you're contributing financially. You should be helping in that way, any way you can. So once those situations happened, I said, listen, you need to like really start figuring out a way to make money, because the checks that come for me, I'm going to be moving them to a separate account. We broke up. I said, you know what, I need to protect myself and my assets. It's my money. You need to start making your own money. And he's like, okay, I'm going to make my own money. He just never did. He never brought in any money. So like, you know, a month goes by, maybe longer, still not bringing anything, wasn't filming, gave that up, was like, no, I'm not doing YouTube anymore, I'm done, like, you're on your own. But I wasn't expecting to just have to take it over like that. Later on, he ended up asking for the channel back. His mother ended up asking for the channel back. He's not making any money.
His mom is annoying.
I say, like, this is not okay, you need to make money. He says, okay, how about I'm going to keep trying to make money, but I'm also going to, like, I'll just pay you back. So that's how the loan came about. During our relationship, I'm not being petty, funny, I was the breadwinner. I always made more money than him, but I never looked at it as my money. Like I said, like, it was for a team effort. He said that he was going to continue to try to make money, but he would pay me back after his fight. When he got paid from that, then he would pay me. I didn't like the idea, but I was like, this is my daughter's father. Don't let your hurt make you act out. Make sure he's good.
And that's
so
hard.
that your daughter can be good when she's
That'll be
good.
hard for me,
And
because
that's what I moved with. So I said, okay, I guess. Then things started really escalating. It started getting really bad between us, and I was like, I need my money, and I need to go. He said, okay, I'm going to go to the bank, and I'm going to take out a loan. I'm going to take out a loan, pay you back. We can, like, go on our way. I really needed the money at the time because I had invested in 2 companies, which I owed another half on. I needed a place to live. I wanted to buy a home so I could just breathe for a little bit and not have to focus on all of this. I knew I wasn't going to jump back into it. I was hurt. I knew that's not what was going to happen for me. And I was restarting my life. I needed my money that I earned. I have some texts, like, me following up, like, did you go see about loan yet? Did you go see about loan yet? Did you go see about loan yet? He had never actually gone. Time was planning to go to Miami still. One day his mother calls me while I'm in the car and says, Soul, she's coming with us to Miami for like 7 days, right? I'm booking the tickets. And the initial agreement months ago, before things got really bad, that Lynn and I had was that I would go with Soul, even though we weren't together, because obviously I'm not going to let my child be all the way out there with her mother. Even though I was like hurt, I was trying to do what's best for my daughter, and he wanted her there for that experience. So I was just going to go so that she could be a part of that experience for him. But things started getting really bad, and so they had, like, canceled me off the trip without saying anything to me. And she said, well, just Soul's going. Like, I have a ticket just for Soul. And I thought that was really, like, strange. My intuition was, like, going crazy. And I said, you know what, Nicole, her dad and I are still, like, trying to figure that out. We'll let you know when we come to, like, an agreement. And she's like, well, that's not going to work. I need to know right now. And I'm like, well, I don't know right now. Respectfully, it's our decision as her parents, so I'll have to let you know. She had hung up on me, so I went inside the house. As I was going upstairs in the room, I heard Lynn on the phone, so I just got quiet. I went in there, he was ushering me for me to leave, go, but I could hear whoever was on the phone was just yelling. So I said, no, I'm not going. And I realized the voice was his mom. He had it to his ear, and I could hear her screaming, and she was saying, I don't care if she doesn't like it, we're going to take her anyways with us. And my heart dropped. I realized they were talking about my daughter, taking her to Miami. And I said, Nicole, I can hear you. How dare you? I can hear you. And Lanny quickly hung up the phone. He said, that's not what you heard. Like, that's not true. You're crazy. You didn't hear that.
Crazy.
I know exactly what the heck I had heard. And that's where it really started getting bad. And my like, mom radar was going off crazy. Like, oh my God, they're trying to take my baby. Like, I just heard that. So the very next day was my niece's birthday party. At the time, Lana and I weren't sleeping in the same room. I was going to go to my niece's birthday party with my daughter. I kept her clothes in the guest room, so I went to the guest room where Lana was sleeping, and his phone was on the nightstand. By that time, he had already changed his password. I heard his phone like ding, 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 and I was like, and I looked over, and it was his mother. The day after, I heard her plotting on taking my child. The intuition was going crazy, and I thought, they never, ever text. They always call, they always FaceTime, like, something is wrong, like, something is wrong. And I couldn't shake that feeling the entire day. It was gone the entire day. When I got back home from the birthday party, eventually he got home, the baby was taking a nap. At the time I had a broken foot, so he was in a boot. And I had him unlock his phone, and I had taken it, and I locked myself in the car, in the driveway, because I was thinking, where can I go that he can't hurt me? Like, I can't, there's no way I can fight him off, like, I have a broken foot. I was like, the door, him and Joe could break the door down, that's not safe. At that time, Joe had already shown that he wasn't loyal to me. And we had met Joe mutually, so I felt like he owed me loyalty. And since we're on the topic, like, I really did love Joe, and I really did care about him, and I would make sure he was good, no matter what. Like, I would double.
I was actually surprised that Joe was acting the way he was acting towards Shyla. Like, yeah, I'm on Landon's side now. Like, what issue do you have with me because we don't share a child? What are we doing, you know? So I don't know, like, that's strange to me. Like, maybe Landon put like some type of bug in his ear and was like, you know, do this, do that, and this is what I'm gonna do for you. Who knows? Who knows?
Perhaps holidays and make sure like his family got nice stuff and he could like still chill. He didn't pay any bills. I set up his business for him. I responded to his business email.
Imagine not paying for any bills, and I know they're paying you good money because you're editing and filming their videos. The audacity. The audacity people have.
Him like out of love. I just really cared for him like a brother, but also like a child to me. Anyways, but he had already proved he wasn't loyal to me at that point, so I didn't trust him either. So I went in the car. I locked myself in the car, and I went to the messages with his mother, and Landon's like banging on the window, like, "You're crazy! What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?" And I'm like shaking. I'm like, okay, breathe. Like, and I went, and his mother was sending him exact amounts of what was in my account. They had went through my personal information, and she was logged into my personal business banking accounts completely separate from Landon, which is extremely
violation.
illegal, by the way. They were plotting on how to take my money, and my like heart.
How much more money do they need?
Oh my God, they're trying to take like my child, my money, like the rest of the money I've left. Like, I'm like, oh my God, like what the hell?
Can you imagine her mental? Like, very overwhelming, anxiety through the roof. I can't imagine, but I know that I felt so low before, to a point where I didn't even want to eat. So I can only imagine how she felt with her being mistreated by Landon, Joe and Landon trying to take away Solene, and then the mom. It's like, it's not even just the partner, it's like the partner in the family.
Dude, like I was like, what is this, Landon? Like, what is this? He was like, she's gonna be like paying you the loan back. That's why she's gonna be the one that's gonna pay the loan. I said, okay, and I called her on the phone, on his phone in the car, and I said, are you gonna be the one paying me the loan back? He said, I'm not paying you a damn thing.
What's with all this? I'm gonna pay you back.
Exactly what it looks like.
Pay me back where?
I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe they were conspiring like so deeply against me. I was shaking. Not that it was relevant because technically we weren't together, but he had messaged every girl in like a 50-mile radius. I'd seen it, and it just added to the fact that he was like, it's not about girls. I'm not talking to girls at all. It's not about that at all for me. I'm just focused on myself. It was like the last thing that I hadn't proved. He lied about every single thing.
My camera started dying, so I'm gonna have to hit the screen record again.
And that was like the last thing that I had confirmation. Also, like, it did hurt. I'm not gonna lie, it did hurt. What hurt the most is that he didn't wish me Happy Mother's Day, but he was in girls' messages wishing them Happy Mother's Day, and I was like,
he's a weirdo.
That hurt. That one cut me a little deep. Back to the same day, he had woken Sol up from her nap and brought her out because I still had his phone and he wanted his phone. And he said, look what you're doing to her, and try to put her in the middle. He was going through the crap, and he handed Sol off to Joe. And then it was like, you're crazy, like just gaslighting.
You seriously need help.
You need help.
No,
you're such a liar. You're trying to manipulate me.
What are the messages? I literally have to record this because I don't believe you. I saw your mom going through my bank information.
And I was hysterical. I felt so betrayed and like so hurt. I had the gate open because, if you guys remember, I said I was like prepared to like leave if they like break the window. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Joe walk with Sol onto the street, leave the front yard and go onto the sidewalk.
That must have been
So
terrifying.
No, because the day before, I heard that conversation with his mother. So I'm like, keep my baby in my vision all times. And so I went over there and I said, Joe, give me Sol, give me my daughter. And he like motioned and like turned his back to me and kept going. I have a broken foot on the guy, a broken foot. I'm a little slower, so I'm like, Joe, give me my daughter. And I'm trying like my hardest not to like, panic, but I can feel my like panic levels starting to rise. Like, Joe, give me my baby. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Give me my baby. And then I see him. He's turning the corner towards his car to park, and then I really started panicking. And in my head, I'm like, he's gonna take my baby. My baby, like, where is she gonna go? And I hear Landon at the same time, like, yeah, Joe, go. Don't stop, Joe, go. And I'm like, oh my God, like, and I'm like, Joe, bring her back. And he's like, I'll put my hands on you before I give her back. And at that moment, I was like,
Disrespectful.
I can like feel myself back in that situation. And like, as a mother, the helplessness that I felt in that situation, like, where is he gonna take her? There's no car seat in there. Like, is he gonna just drive off with my baby? Like, how am I can't fight him off. Like, how am I gonna get my baby? If you ever lost your kid for a split second, it's like that, but times a million. At that point, once he said that, I knew he was serious. I could see it in his eyes. And I started trying to reason with him, and I said, Joe, like, why are you doing this to me? Like, why are you doing this to me? Like I loved you. Like, I never did anything bad to you. Like, I was always there for you. Like, why are you doing this to me? I was like, what can I do? And I was like, I said, I'm calling the police, but my phone was in the car. Ran as fast as I could to the car, and I called 911. I called 911, and I said, like, they're kidnapping my baby. Like, please help me. Like, and I ran back as fast as I could to Joe, and I gave a description of what he was wearing, and I put it on speaker so that he would know I was really calling 911. And I said, like, I gave a description, and Landon had gone inside the house, and I ran inside to find him and see what he was wearing, because I asked for a description of him as well and what he was wearing. The dispatcher told me that if there was no custody agreement or emergency protection on the child, that they couldn't come. And my heart, like, and I'd taken off speaker by that point, so it was only me who had heard the dispatcher say that. Trying to think as quick as I could, I acted like I was still on the phone. And I said, Joe, if you just bring her back, I'll tell them not to come and I'll hang up right now. I told Landon, like, if you just tell him to just come back with her, bring her back to me, and I will hang up and it will not come. And then it says, okay, Joe, bring her back. And like, I thank God that worked, because like, I thank God that worked, because that was literally like my last resort for these two people to terrorize me and then act like that didn't happen. Joseph in his declaration admits the situation never happened. Why is there a 911 call? I subpoenaed the 911 call. I don't know if I'll get it. Thank God that there was a record of that. Immediately after that, Joe had called my mom while he had someone that tried to call the police on me. Like, I don't know why, like, she's crazy. Like, tell her to hang up.
You always want to say that. She's crazy. You're crazy.
And my mom didn't
to
say
get a
shit.
kid that's not even your own kid.
Told about my house. So I'm getting Sol back. I'm like hysterical. I'm in the front yard. My mom's like, what is going on? And I'm trying to explain to her what happened. And she goes inside, and I'm walking inside. After her and Joe is following me inside. He goes, Shyla, I'm so sorry. He's crying hysterically. And he said, I effed up. I'm so sorry, Shyla.
Weirdo.
on my daughter, like right hand to God, this is the conversation. They will never admit this though. He is hysterically crying, saying, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. You were like a sister to me, you did everything for me, I'm so sorry. And Landon said, Joe, like, get in here. And he got up, didn't even wipe his tears. And I said, he's not sorry. No way is he sorry. Unfortunately, that night, I knew what the dispatcher had said. They didn't know that, but I knew that I had to let her go. He wanted to take her to his dad's house, and I knew legally I had to let him. I had my mom tell him, like, you need to bring her back by 9 o'clock tonight. Nothing around it. You need to bring her back by 9 o'clock tonight, or, like, we're going to call the police again. You know, just bluffing, because technically there's nothing the police could do at that moment.
I'm trying to leave. Like, you can call me crazy, you can call me untrust up right now, dude. I just went through the worst thing in my life. Like, I cannot trust you. I want to be able to trust you with our daughter. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm scared you're going to take her and, like, try to keep her there and try to say, like, I'm crazy. Like, I'm terrified of that. Like, I don't want you to take my daughter. Like, she is literally all I have. Like, trust me. Yes, you and your mom is the biggest thing right now. Like, I confirmed. I don't know what you guys are trying to do, but I'm saying that I don't trust it. You betrayed me. Like, I'm not ready to even, like, heal from that. Like, I just wish you wouldn't do this shady shit that you do. Like, I want to trust you as her dad.
That's
One of the worst days
crazy.
of my life, easily. After that, I was like, I am not safe. My daughter is not safe. Like, I need this money, and I need to go. Like, I need to go. I approached him in the office. He was playing video games. And I said, like, hey, you need to take out a loan today. Like, I need to leave. I can't be here anymore, like, with you. I'm still not fully comfortable talking about any of the physical abuse because, one, it takes me right back to that moment. I don't deserve to, like, keep reliving those. I had to relive them for life. Testimony from my attorneys, her court documents. Like, I don't deserve to keep, like, living in those memories, so I'm gonna kind of skip past those. But long story short, he assaulted me. In his statement, he claims that I attacked him. I still have
Of course.
I'm in a group. Claims that I slapped him, punched him.
And I'm pretty sure if she did, and she's not saying she did, defense, like, you're hitting me, I'm gonna hit you back to get you off of me.
Long nails, I'll include a picture of my nails at the time. If I was slapping you repeatedly, we asked him, did you have any scratch marks? If I had long nails and I'm slapping you, you should have scratch marks.
True.
He said, no, I didn't have any scratch marks. So my attorney asked him, okay, so what about when she punched you? And he goes, oh, she didn't punch me. It's in his official declaration. It just said that I punched you.
So he don't even know when he lying.
He assaulted me for the last time. Well, physically assaulted me for the last time. I was like,
Sorry.
F this. When I was starting to really stand up for myself is when it got bad. I'm not going to do this. Like, you hurt me when it was just me and you, and I took it, and I didn't know any better, but now I know, and I'm not going to do this anymore. That situation happened. I was like, F this money. Like, I'm just going to handle it legally. I'm going to get out of here. So fast forward, his mother calls my mom and says this whole story of how she cares for me, and, you know, she didn't say that, and she wants to pay me back the loan so that I can be good and make sure I'm taken care of, and blah, 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 blah. And she just wants to know if I can pull all the, you know, receipts basically for this. My mom's like, Shyla, you, like, I know you want to just say, like, F it, but, like, think about your daughter. You have obligations. You need to get your money and, like, move on from this. There was, like, a meeting scheduled for the next morning at the house that we were going to all meet there. And I had spent the entire night gathering every single account that we've had together, both independently together, every single credit card, every single transaction. I even highlighted what he spent, what I spent, our business expenses, our joint expenses, and I, like, coordinated it, so it's really easy. It took me a really long time. There's no confusion about what was owed, what was not owed. So the meeting day
That's
comes, we all sit down there, and I apologized to her. I had called her out of her name with that phone call, and she's like, you're not getting anything. And I was like, you stupid. And I admitted to that. I said that. I apologized because just thinking about it, I thought, there's no way Like, she could possibly know the facts and treat me like this. Like, there's no way. Like, she must just not know, like, what truly happened. She must just not know that he has no money. Like, she must just not know. Like, why would she do that? It doesn't make sense to me. So I said, I'm so sorry for talking to you like that. You must just not know. Like, that makes sense, right? Because if you don't know, if you're uneducated, then you're going to act like that. So I'm like, once she knows all the facts, then she's going to be, like, on the same page. And I made, all the grandmother's diamond necklaces that said sold for Mother's Day. I hadn't given hers yet. And I said, here's your necklace. Like, I just want to get this taken care of, and I want to, like, move on, you know? And I'm really sorry that I said that, because I just was assuming that you knew what was going on. And you probably didn't. And she was like, oh, thank you. And took the necklace.
She probably did know.
She knew exactly what was going on. We sat down. She didn't even look at the paperwork that I pulled. None of it. Landon sat there next to her.
I'm looking down here because my laptop is on.
Do you think he deserves to leave with something? Yes. If he was owed something, yes. I said, he agreed to pay me back all the money he owed me. Did you get him to write it in contract? Is there a contract? No, then you're not getting any of it back. And don't bother consulting a lawyer, because I already talked to one. You're not getting any of it back. So cold and calculated. And she goes, as far as the YouTube channel, Landon wants that back. It's like,
Landon.
I never took it. Like, okay.
Landon wants this. Landon wants that.
I felt the tears flowing, and I was like, you are an evil person. My mom had talked to Landon so many times about this, and he was sitting there, and she goes, Landon, you're really gonna lie when I'm sitting right here? I had these conversations with you, and I'll never forget, like, this image. Whenever I think about him, I see the same image of him in my head. I see, in that moment, he was sitting next to her with his arms crossed, like, leaning back, like he knew this was going to happen. And he's smiling, and he's like, yep. And he's smiling, looking at me like this, knowing they had just completely tried to fuck me over. I had been busting my ass, paying for everything his entire career for months, under the guise that he was going to pay me back, he was going to pay me back. He was smiling, and he thought it was funny. He thought, I could see just, like, the evilness in his eyes. He thought this was a game, like, and it triggers me so much when I hear his voice, when I see his face, because that's all I can think about. That's the only image that I can associate with him. I can see the evil and the anger and the resentment for me in his face. It didn't even look like human. And I got, like, and I just went to my car, and I just was crying, and like, what am I gonna do? And I called my attorney, and I said, can you come over in an hour? Like, I need to figure some stuff out. And what I forgot to mention during the conversation, he goes, what do you want to do with the Range Rover? And I said, you know what? Just paid for the McLaren and the Range Rover the day before. I said, this is before she said, I'm not paying you anything back. She said, what do you want to do with the Range Rover? And I said, she said, you can keep it. Like, and I said, honestly, I don't feel comfortable keeping it, because I don't want something that someone can just take away from me. She did co-sign. In order to get, that was like a $200,000 car. In order to get a luxury car, you need a co-sign who also has a luxury car. I don't know if that's just how it is. She's also co-signed for his brother's cars. She's co-signed for everybody. So it wasn't like abnormal. My payments, I paid my insurance in full for the year. It was like $20,000. Like, didn't think anything of it, but just felt like their true colors had showed. And I said, like, I just paid for it yesterday, so I'd rather have it for the next 30 days until I can get my own. And then Landon can have it, and that can be his car for sold. And he's like, I don't want it, but I'm like, it's under your mom's name, you can have it. After the whole incident, I went to my car hysterical, and then my, like, firefight kicked in, and I'm like, okay, they just took all my money. Is my child gonna be next? I loaded her up in the car, and I drove around like, panicking, like, where am I gonna take my kid? Like, trying to figure it out, like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Just crying.
No one will believe me.
And I remember this day she took a picture of herself in the car and she posted it, and then that's when it all started, and then people started saying, oh, she started it. I mean, she had every right to speak up. Nobody knows what's going on, and she has a large audience, so of course she's going to want to say something, because people are going to suspect something's wrong.
Well, yeah, Mama. We're sitting parked right now in the car because I'm fearful to go home. I believe they're trying to kidnap my daughter. We've been gaslighting, trying to tell the whole world I'm crazy and trying to convince other people. They've stolen. Landon and his mom have stolen. And like, I'm literally out here in my house. She's like, I just left with her. Like, I'm terrified they're gonna take my baby, and I'm not crazy.
That's when I took this picture. For months, I've been bullied relentlessly from my I was being abused, like I was being manipulated, like trying to hold back the floodgates because I didn't want my abusers to suffer because I loved them. I felt like so beaten up by the world. Imagine going through the worst time in your life and trying to be private about it and getting bullied for that. And just felt like broken, like I had nothing else to hide. I don't care, see me broken. And I posted this picture and Soul was in the back in the car seat. I drove up on a hill where I could see my house, so I could see when they were gonna leave because I was like, I don't have a diaper for this girl. I don't even have shoes on. I saw May didn't take the McLaren, so I chose to take the Jeep. And I saw in her car, and I waited a little bit, and I went home, and I called my brother, and he came over, and I was like, I need you to help me pack my shit up. Like, I'm leaving today. Like, I was trying to stay around. They were trying to keep me around, like, oh, we're gonna pay you back. It never happened. Like, I gotta go. It's getting really dangerous. I need to go. And my mom was there, and I said, Mom, I just have a feeling. Please take Soul with you home, and I'll come get her later, but I need to get my shit out of here. And that was one of the best decisions I made. Not an hour later, police showed up outside my house. His mother was out there. He was out there on the phone with my attorney, and my brother was here. I think I have a video. I might include a video. And my attorney said, go send your brother out there and see what they want. And I texted them, like, your access, my attorney had me reach out to them, your access has been revoked to the house if you're not on the lease. Only Landon was on the lease, so I was like, you guys are not to come in this house, which is my right. So my brother goes out there and he says, oh, she's taking the Range Rover back. I'm like, of course she is. So my attorney's like, just give me the keys, like, we can get it back in court, not a big deal. I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I don't care. I have my kid, I don't give a shit. He goes and gives me the keys.
Hey, keys?
And Land needs to get his stuff, so I'm going to wait for the police. What did she say?
She said there's 2 keys.
No, there's not 2 keys.
She said Landon still needs to get his stuff, so they're waiting for the police. They're trying to put it all over.
Let me just go out here and talk to him. Can you just report it? Because I just don't know.
There was never street by 16. Landon still legally lives here. He has every right to come get his stuff. He can come get his stuff, that's no problem, but you cannot enter unaccompanied, and he cannot enter unaccompanied. But if Landon wants to go get his stuff, no. But he can come get his stuff.
I think they just want to make a show.
Then it comes up, they had called a police escort, and they had said, like, I was violent and crazy and trying to play the whole victim. He had brought all his friends to, like, help him get his stuff, and I said, okay. I just thought it was very, like, his mother was outside standing with my Range Rover, like, smiling, and it was like, you're evil, like, you were so evil. He's like, yeah, like, it was a game to them, like, how bad did they hurt me? I remember seeing they took Soul's car seat out of the car, and they just left it, like, in the front yard, like, no regard, like, you took everything there and didn't even think about taking Soul, didn't think about her one time, and it's like, how was I going to get her around? She had a pediatrician's appointment that week. They took all the cars, all 3 cars, and they left me there, like, stranded, which is evil. And he had his friends packing his things up, and I hadn't talked to Joseph since, you know, he had apologized to me, and he was out there, like, flipping me off and laughing and, like, pointing at me, and it was a game to them. How could you guys, like, his friend Rob was there doing the same thing. He called me a B word in front of Lynn, and I'm like, how man are you that you need your friends to come in here and, like, berate me and, like, degrade me? Like, it's not even a situation. I had let Rob live with us. I'm the one who buys his birthday gifts. Like, I've been good to him as well, so I just thought it was very, like, disrespectful that he let his friends talk to me like that. I was like, hey, they have no respect for me. And they took the dog. Like, didn't ask about the child, but took the dog. One of the cars is completely paid off and it's in my name, and Joe took it. And I said, Joe, bring the car back now. I'm calling the police. It's totally in my name. Bring it back. Bring it back. I'm calling the police. How was I going to move all these boxes? My brother has, like, a coupe. Eventually, they just, like, dropped it off and then they left again. My attorney came over and he said, does he have any weapons? Yeah, he has 2 guns. Like, he was like, do you know where they're kept? And I said, yeah. He said, go upstairs and check. And I went upstairs and there were no guns. My heart dropped. Why would you come and get, like, your clothes and your guns? Like, I don't understand. One was registered and one was unregistered. That started a big, like, panic for me. Like I said, I need to get a restraining order. Spent the night at my mother's house, met Soul over there, and I spent the night with my mom. The next morning, I had to go back to the house to meet, where the incidents happened. And the police searched the house for me because I was terrified. Like, I didn't want to go in there. I brought my, I missed a step. So The next morning, Landon's dad had reached out to me and, you know, I didn't mention, but he had came over when I was packing my shit and was like, what's going on? And I told him the situation, and he said, Shyla, I'm gonna have him pay you back everything he owes you. Like, McCole needs to stay out of it. Like, this is not her place. Like, I love you. You can come stay at my house. It was all BS, but we had had that conversation. So, the next day, his dad texted me and said, oh, Landon wants to get some stuff out of the house. You know, what's a good time to come? And I told his dad, like, don't tell him, but I'm gonna be there at like noon. So if you have him come, like, I can later I don't like run into him. I had my male cousin, my only male cousin, and I called him and I said, can you come with me? And he said, you know, I'm wrapping something up and go. I think we were supposed to go at like 2 or something. I can't remember exactly. And he said, it's gonna be a little later because I'm like doing this. And I said, okay, no worries. Landon had texted me at like 1:54, the time I was supposed to be there, and he had said, oh, I came and I took the stroller, like, so you can't have it, or something like that. It really frightened me that he knew I was going to be there. He thought I was going to be there alone. And he had came and went there and like waited for me to be there, but I wasn't there. So he wanted to let me know he was there, and then he made it seem like it was about a stroller. Why would you take the stroller when you don't have the child? That really scared me. Thank God my cousin had, like, went with me and had something to do. So I ended up going back to the house. The police granted me, and I showed them my injuries. They granted me an emergency restraining order and emergency protective order over our daughter. Despite what he said, it's not easy to get a restraining order. Everyone would have one. It's not something you can just say, I want a restraining order, and you get one. I tried to get one against my father years ago, and I wasn't able to. Since I'm on that topic, I guess I will make a note of that. I won't speak to my father for obvious reasons. He has severe mental illness and severe substance abuse issues. I haven't spoken a single word to him in like 4 or 5 years, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Back to my story. In our statements on why we think we should have restraining orders, we said like the guns. These guns are out there, like for doing like little things to antagonize me and like scare me. I believe I was terrified. I was still staying in that home because I didn't have anywhere to go. Trying to find a home. I couldn't even find a rental. I was applying for rentals. I didn't have a car. I was trying to figure out how I was going to get a car. The car that I had was not safe to drive on the freeway. We had never put a soul in there for that reason, and so I was still staying in that house. They were trying to manipulate me and scare me behind the scenes. After they were bashing me all online, like I would have to call security when I was gone. Like after a long day, if I knew I was coming home at night, I would call him to meet me at my house. He would look like and clear the whole house and look under every bed, and it was like, why do I have to live like this? Like barricade. I would barricade the door of the room that Sol and I would sleep in. I would have one dog sleep with me, one dog sleep outside the room, and Sol falls asleep with the noise machine. I was so paranoid that I wouldn't be able to hear it if like someone was outside or someone was trying to break in, so I would stay up. Like I did not sleep. And I would have a knife next to the bed. Like I was terrified. Like, no one should have to live like that. I remember one time the dogs were barking crazy. I was too scared to go out there. And the next morning I went out there just to check the mail, and I'd seen Banana's monkey mask, which is his brother's brand, on my driveway. Never owned that brand. It was out there yesterday. It was not there. Did they leave it on purpose? I don't know. Did they drop it? I don't know. Another incident is I heard the dogs barking crazy, and I opened the door, and it was 3 men attempting to steal pickles. I screamed at them, and they left, and I was too scared to report it because so many bad things were happening, and I was needing law enforcement so often that I didn't want to like oversaturate it and have them like doubt me because I was calling them more, if that makes sense. My anxiety, like I was scared. I would beg people to come just sleep over so I just wouldn't be alone. And he has this unregistered gun. He's denying it, and I was getting so anxious. I was like, how can I prove he has another gun? Like, I felt hopeless. You know, it's my word against his. Mm-hmm. I was packing up all of my things. I found 2 gun cases that he had left behind. It's like, okay, that's some evidence that the judge is going to believe me, because why do you have 2 gun cases if you have 1 gun? Not enough evidence. This is how it is to get a restraining order as well. You need sufficient evidence. Like, I want everyone to understand this. I found a picture of 2 different types of bullets with Landon's like arm in the back. He was standing. Oh. Like in back of it.
Pictures
online. 2 different types of bullets, 2 different types of gun cases. Like the court has to believe that he has 2 guns. Like he's lying about this. My attorney asked him to submit it's called a DV-800 paperwork, and you declare under penalty of perjury. I have never owned or possessed another weapon. And he signed that. He said, I've never owned or possessed another weapon. Once we submitted those photos, they submitted another one saying, oh, I changed my mind. I just forgot that I owned it and then I got rid of it. Why are you lying and hiding this gun if you have good intentions? Lied under penalty of perjury multiple times. He said he only borrowed the gun for like 2 weeks. He never owned it, which is not true. And I'm thinking like, how can I prove? My friend had, her phone had broken months before, and I bought Landon a new phone, like around his birthday. He said, oh, just give her this phone, like my old phone, and the screen was broke, so I fixed the screen, and she ended up getting a new phone, so I just packed it away, and I didn't think about it again. I was like, oh my god, I know he sent pictures of the guns to people, and it just came out of nowhere, and I was like, I found the phone he had given to me. Grace of God, I found a picture he had taken of both guns, side by side, with the date, dated like 9 months past when he said he had gotten rid of it. You can't deny that. You can't deny that. You own 2 guns.
You
I
cannot deny
visitation
that.
I want her to see her father. I know she doesn't understand, and she just knows that's her dad and she loves him. I can't make her understand that. It's not my place to make her understand. She will see all of that in due time. Maybe he will grow
Sadly.
up and learn, change, and own up and be a better person. Because I never wanted to have this type of relationship. I wanted so badly to have a good co-parenting relationship more than anything. I wanted to both be at her gymnastics. Unfortunately, he didn't care. He thought he was gonna just like abuse me, use me, hurt me, and then he thought he had his big brain. He thought, like, F you, you're on your own, figure it out, I'm going to take all your money, I'm going to be a star, I'm never doing YouTube again. And unfortunately, none of that happened for him. And I say unfortunately because I don't wish that on him. I know that probably hurts. You left everything, your family, your relationship, everything, thinking you were gaining everything, and in the end you got nothing. You have to see your daughter monitor visitation because of your own decisions. And that hurts her. I feel bad for her more than anyone. Even for her visitation, to manipulate me still. His mother texted me not that long ago and said, like, I love you. You'll see when this is over. Like, don't try to manipulate me. Nothing you all have done as a whole, the entire family, could have possibly been out of love. Not one of you.
They're very vindictive, manipulative, conniving type of family, and they're really good at painting an image, like a facade, like, yeah, we're good people, and they're not. And between me and y'all, I don't really watch. I'm still subscribed to the Ace family, but I don't really watch them anymore. I'm getting kind of bored. I missed it when it was like way back when they only had L. But you know, it's, yeah. And then yeah, it's just I don't really watch them no more. And y'all know I went to their basketball charity event 2 years ago. If they have another one, I am not going.
Single one of you were conspiring to hurt me. Every single one of them. Do not text me. And I sent her a cease and desist. Do not contact me. Our first visitation, they make it so you don't arrive at the same time, so you never run into each other. Who pulls up directly behind me? His mother. Like, they tried to intimidate me. I took a picture. Not to mention that now that he's trying to look like this image on social media, that he would be buying stuff for our daughter to at least look like a good father and play that like internet dad role. Hasn't. The visitation center asked me, would it be fine if he brought gifts? And I thought they were asking that because he had gifts he wanted to give her. And I said, yeah, that's fine. You know, I'm not gonna let my like hurt stop her like receiving things from her dad. Like, I'm not gonna do that. No, he's not bought one thing for her. Not a diaper, not a snack, not a clothing, not shoes, nothing. We switched visitation facilities. They are asking me to stop packing her lunch. I pack her, I make her breakfast, I pack her lunch, I pack all her snacks. I obviously provide, dress her, pack extra clothes, toys, I do it all. And they asked me to not do that anymore. They're like, we want to make him be a dad. And I'm just like, I don't want him to be a dad because someone mandated it. If he wanted to, he would have. He chooses not to, and that's fine. She needs for nothing. Literally, he doesn't even know her shoe sizes, her diaper. In his declaration, he was asked what her diaper size was. He got it wrong. He didn't know. He actually told me, basically, if you want more help, you need to get a nanny. I actually didn't want a nanny. I thought we should be able to take care of our daughter on our own. Any extra help was nice, but not required. Joseph has never once babysat her. Landon was not even comfortable with him taking her on a walk like up the street in a stroller. He's never, definitely never bathed her. Ever. Never changed her diaper. Everything's so for attention, and I don't want that kind of attention. Even down to the engagement ring you guys saw floating around. Here's the agreement for that. And here's my receipt.
So she paid for her engagement ring. Oh, I'm going to wrap up this video because it's already been long as it is. My camera is dying again. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Comment, share, and subscribe. Turn on the bell button so you'll be notified anytime that I do post a new video. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram at therealshaynaa. TikTok with 2 A's at the end. And also check out my eyelashes at shaynaaupante.com/shop. Link will be right here, also in the description. I'm wearing my lashes in Jamaica from the 4 Lash booklet set. And also check out my lifestyle health and wellness website at secretdirect.com/therealshaynaa. Link will be right here, also in the description. And I will catch you guys in the next video when I react to Landon's real truth. Bye.